Welcome to Bible in a Year with Scott Purcell. I'm so glad you're joining me. This is a daily reading of portions of the Bible, following a plan that will include the entire Bible in a year. And now, let's open the book and begin our readings. This is the reading for day 127. If your reading is aligned with the calendar year in a non-leap year, this is for May 7th, or in a leap year for May 8th. The Old Testament reading is from Judges 6 and Judges 7 until verse 8. Judges 6. The Israelites did evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and Yahweh gave them into the hand of the Midianites for 7 years. The hand of the Midianites prevailed over Israel. Because of the presence of the Midianites, the Israelites made for themselves hiding places that were in the mountains, caves, and strongholds. And whenever Israel sowed seed, the Midianites, Amalekites, and the people of the east would come up against them. They would camp against them and destroy the produce of the land as far as Gaza. They left no produce in Israel, or sheep, ox, or donkey. For they, their livestock, and their tents would come up like a great number of locusts. They and their camels could not be counted. They came into the land and devoured it. Israel was very poor because of the presence of the Midianites, and the Israelites cried out to Yahweh. When the Israelites cried out to Yahweh on account of the Midianites, Yahweh sent a prophet to the Israelites. And he said to them, "Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt. I brought you from the house of slavery. I delivered you from the hand of Egypt and from the hand of all your oppressors, and drove them out from before you, and I gave you their land. And I said to you, I am Yahweh your God. Do not fear the God of the Amorites, in whose land you are living. But you have not listened to my voice." The angel of Yahweh came and sat under the oak that was at Ophrah, that belonged to Jehoash the Abiezrite. And Gideon, his son, was threshing wheat in the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. The angel of Yahweh appeared to him and said to him, "Yahweh is with you, you mighty warrior." Gideon said to him, "Excuse me, my Lord. If Yahweh is with us, why then has all this happened to us? Where are all his wonderful deeds that our ancestors recounted to us, saying, 'Did not Yahweh bring us up from Egypt?' But now Yahweh has forsaken us. He has given us into the palm of Midian." And Yahweh turned to him and said, "Go in this your strength, and you will deliver Israel from the palm of Midian. Did I not send you?" He said to him, "Excuse me, my Lord, how will I deliver Israel? Look, my clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the youngest in my father's house." And Yahweh said to him, "But I will be with you, and you will defeat Midian as though they are one man." And he said to him, "Please, if I have found favor in your eyes, show me a sign that you are speaking with me. Please do not depart from here until I come back to you and bring out my gift and set it out before you." And he said, "I will stay until you return." And Gideon went and prepared a young goat and unleavened cakes from an ephah of flour. He put meat in a basket, and the broth he put in a pot. And he brought them to him under the oak and presented them. The angel of God said to him, "Take the meat and the unleavened cakes and put them on this rock. Pour the broth over it." And he did so. Then the angel of Yahweh reached out the tip of the staff that was in his hand, and he touched the meat and the unleavened cakes, and fire went up from the rock and consumed the meat and the unleavened cakes. And the angel of Yahweh went from his sight. And Gideon realized that he was the angel of Yahweh. And Gideon said, "O my Lord Yahweh, for now I have seen the angel of Yahweh face to face." And Yahweh said to him, Peace be with you. Do not fear, you will not die." And Gideon built there an altar to Yahweh, and he called it, "Yahweh is Peace." To this day it is still in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. Now on that same night Yahweh said to him, "Take the bull of the cattle that belongs to your father, and a second bull 7 years old, and pull down the altar of Baal that belongs to your father, and cut down the Asherah that is beside it, and build an altar to Yahweh your God on the top of this stronghold in the proper arrangement, and take a second bull and offer it as a burnt offering with the wood of the Asherah that you will cut down." Gideon took 10 men from his servants, and he did just as Yahweh told him. And because he was too afraid of his father's family and the men of the city to do it during the day, he did it during night. When the men of the city got up early in the morning, look, the altar of Baal and the Asherah that was beside it were cut down, and the second bull was offered on the altar that had been built. And they said to one another, "Who did this thing?" So they searched and inquired, and they said, "Gideon, son of Jehoash, did this thing." And the men of the city said to Jehoash, "Bring out your son so that he may die, for he has pulled down the altar of Baal and cut down the Asherah that was beside it." But Jehoash said to all who stood against him, "Will you contend for Baal? Will you rescue him? Whoever contends for him will be put to death by the morning. If he is a god, let him contend for himself, because his altar has been pulled down." Thus on that day he was called Jerubbaal, which means, "Let Baal contend against him," because he had pulled down his altar. Then all the Midianites, Amalekites, and the people of the east gathered together and crossed the Jordan, and they camped in the valley of Jezreel. So the Spirit of Yahweh took possession of Gideon, and he blew on the trumpet, and the Abiezrites were called to follow him. He sent messengers throughout all Manasseh, and they were also called to follow him. And he sent messengers throughout Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali, and they went up to meet them. Then Gideon said to God, "In order to see that you will deliver Israel by my hand, just as you have said, I will place a fleece of wool on the threshing floor. If there is dew on the fleece only, and all of the ground is dry, I will know that you will deliver Israel by my hand, just as you have said." And it was so. He arose early the next day and squeezed the fleece, and he wrung out dew from the fleece, a full drinking bowl of water. And Gideon said to God, "Do not let your anger burn against me. Let me speak once more. Please let me test once more with the fleece. Let the fleece be dry, and let there be dew on the ground." And God did so that night. Only the fleece was dry, and dew was on all the ground. Judges 7. Then Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, rose early, and all the army that was with him. They were camped beside the spring of Harod. The camp of Midian was north of the hill of Moreh in the valley. And Yahweh said to Gideon, "The troops that are with you are too many for me to give Midian into their hands. Israel will boast, saying, 'My hand has delivered me.' So then, please proclaim in the hearing of the troops, saying, 'Whoever is fearful and trembling, let him return and depart from the Mount of Gilead.'" About 22,000 troops returned, and 10,000 remained. And Yahweh said to Gideon, "There are still too many troops. Bring them down to the water, and I will sift through them for you there. For whomever I say to you, 'This one will go with you,' he will go with you. And for all whom I say to you, 'This one will not go with you,' he will not go." So he brought down the troops to the water, and Yahweh said to Gideon, "You must separate everyone who laps up the water to drink with his tongue like a dog from those who kneel." The number of those lapping up the water with their hand to their mouth was 300 men. All the rest of the troops kneeled to drink the water. And Yahweh said to Gideon, "I will deliver you with the 300 men lapping up the water. I will give Midian into your hand. So let the other troops go, each to his own place." So they took their provisions and their trumpets into their hand, and he sent all the men of Israel, each one to his tent. But 300 of the men he kept. The camp of Midian was below him in the valley. The New Testament reading is from John chapter 5, verse 16 through 30. John 5:16. And on account of this, the Jews began to persecute Jesus, because he was doing these things on the Sabbath. But he answered them, "My Father is working until now, and I am working." So on account of this, the Jews were seeking even more to kill him, because he not only was breaking the Sabbath, but also was calling God his own Father, thus making himself equal with God. So Jesus answered and said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing from himself, except what he sees the Father doing. For whatever that one does, these things also the Son does likewise. For the Father loves the Son, and shows him everything that he himself is doing. And greater works than these he will show him, so that you will be astonished. For just as the Father raises the dead and makes them alive, thus also the Son makes alive whomever he wishes. For the Father does not judge anyone, but he has given all judgment to the Son, in order that all people will honor the Son just as they honor the Father. The one who does not honor the Son does not honor the Father who sent him. Truly, truly, I say to you, that the one who hears my word and who believes the one who sent me has eternal life, and does not come into judgment, but has passed from death into life. Truly, truly, I say to you, that an hour is coming, and now is here, when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and the ones who hear will live. For just as the Father has life in himself, thus also he has granted to the Son to have life in himself. And he has granted him authority to carry out judgment, because he is the Son of Man. Do not be astonished at this, because an hour is coming in which all those in the tombs will hear his voice, and they will come out, those who have done good things to a resurrection of life, but those who have practiced evil things to a resurrection of judgment. I am able to do nothing from myself. Just as I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I do not seek my own will, but the will of the one who sent me. The wisdom literature reading is from Psalm 57, verse 7 through 11. Psalm 57, 7. My heart is steadfast, O God. My heart is steadfast. I will sing and give praise. Awake, my glory, awake, harp and lyre, I will awake the dawn. I will give you thanks among the peoples, O Lord. I will give you praise among the nations, because your loyal love is high to the heavens, and your faithfulness to the clouds. Be exalted above the heavens, O God. Let your glory be above all the earth. This concludes the reading for day 127. Thank you for listening. These daily readings are made possible by your generous support of the Global Outreach Ministry of Scott Purcell. To partner with us and enable this work and others like it, please visit huttobible.com/give and select Go Pastor Support from the fund list. You can also sign up for ministry updates at scott-purcell.epistle.org/subscribe. Both of those links can be found in the podcast description. Thank you for helping us share God's Word.